Welcome back, watch fans. Today we're talking about the seamen. That's right, we're talking about seamanship. We're talking about the what do you call it? It's a yacht themed video we're doing, discussing the world of Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, Patek Philippe, and the Rolex Submariner. And you know, interestingly, my yacht is parked in the back with the helicopter on the aft deck. In case you peasants don't know, the aft is the back. It's the fancy way of saying the back, right? So there it is. And you know what's interesting? Speaking of peasants, I was just taking a walk. And who do I see? Like a guy riding a bike. I just realized something. I don't think you're supposed to ride a bike in this area on this thing. But who's riding a bike right towards me? Barry Diller. In case, a lot of you kids today, you don't know who Barry Diller is. Barry Diller is, Barry Diller is a multi-billionaire. He's the guy that basically invented. He's this. I think he owns, or he's the chairman of, I should say, Interactive Corp. IAC is the stock symbol. But he started off as a Hollywood guy, and that's right. Barry Diller was a Hollywood guy, and you know, the whole grooming thing, you know, the whole Hollywood thing. Yeah, he knows all about that stuff. But he was riding his bike over here. Oh yeah, I guess you can ride your bike. I do see people ride. Yeah, so it's unbelievable. So I just literally Barry, you know, by himself, just riding a bike. You know, the guy looked in good shape. I think he's in his 80s now. But what are we talking about today? We're talking about seamen. That's right. And we know that Barry Diller does like seamen. He likes yachting. I think he's got a big boat. He's as does his friend David Geffen, and you know, some of the other guys in Hollywood. I know Diddy. I don't think Diddy owns a yacht. I think Diddy's a renter. He's not an owner. Diddy is a renter. And I think Jay-Z also. I think that both of those guys are renters. The Diddy parties. They're renters. That's right. Unbelievable, but true. So okay, let's talk about the concept of what are we talking about today? We're just trying to create some filler content. Guys. It ain't easy doing these videos. You know, it's ain't easy doing these videos. Let's talk about what are we talking about? I just was inspired. I was just passing by. I figured, hey. Well, this is very appropriate. You know what's interesting? Imagine you have a yacht. You have one of these yachts. You can't wear a Rolex Yacht Master. That's right. You really can't. The Rolex Yacht Master. Actually, you know what's interesting? Actually, the other day I was at a dinner, and a gentleman across from me, a Swiss gentleman, actually, unbelievable, true, a Swiss gentleman. Who's, I think, a pretty successful guy. I mean, I don't know his net worth, but I think I just get a sense he's a pretty successful guy. You know, and he was wearing the Yacht Master. I think a chocolate dial with two-tone. I think it was a black dial. I couldn't tell it was dark, but it was definitely a rose gold and steel. I don't know. You know, I don't know if he know, but I was wearing this. Of course, I was wearing this, and. I don't know if he noticed, you know, because if he did notice that I was wearing the superior watch, he did not offer what do you call it? When you pay homage to a king or something, fealty. You know, you give, you know, what is it? FEATY, something like that. What's the concept? All right, let's talk about what are we talking about? We're talking about Royal Oaks. We're talking about the yachting themes, and you know what we should talk about? I think I should mention that the Royal Oak is, if you're going to go with one of these yachting type watches, the Royal Oak is actually the superior watch to the Nautilus. Honestly, the Nautilus, I think the Nautilus is right now one of the most overhyped watches, and if you're going to get yourself a Nautilus, at some point you're going to regret it, because it's a tacky watch. It's a very dated 70s design. I've mentioned it before. You know that Gerald Genta is a very overrated guy. He really is. He's like this pigeon here. He's like this pigeon. Oh, man, this pigeon is not even moving. Wow, it's rough shape. That's Gerald Genta. He's basically like that pigeon. Yeah, I think his best watch, frankly, was the Royal Oak. You know, most of his other watches were like, you know, I don't know, they're kind of weird. They really were weird. What's the other one? The Pole Router, whatever it was a pretty decent watch for a 50s design. Pretty decent watch. But the Nautilus, everything else. He did something called the Yacht Club for IWC. He did a bunch of stuff. But the best one, I think the best one that he did is really the Royal Oak. And by the way, I will admit the Royal Oak is a little bit of a, you know, it's a little bit kitschy when you think about it, right? It is a little bit kitschy, but not as kitschy as the Nautilus. Why? Because, you know, the Royal Oak, the design is a relatively minimal design. You know, it's an octagon, right? It's like you got this octagon shape. So, and if you don't know anything about boats, you don't know that it has something to do with a dive helmet or whatever, or the boat, not the dive helmet, the what do you call it, the window, or I don't even know, is it a window or boat helmet? Who knows, and who cares, right? Whereas the Nautilus has got it's got these it's got these ears. It's got these two ears protruding. From both sides. And what are they there for? I think the case, the way it opens up, is it like swings open. It's on hinges. It's some sort of cockamamie contrived design. Okay, it's a cockamamie contrived design. I think in French they call it farcacte. It's some farcacte design. All right. It's on here, whereas like the Royal Oak is basically pretty clean. It's an octagon. Octagon is a great geometric shape. The octagon is a great shape. It's a really one of the world's great shapes. Okay, so this means a lot of different things. Whereas the Nautilus means basically, you know, just a bunch of nonsense. So, where are we going with this? We're going with the fact that I'm very, very concerned about Nautilus. Now, I actually was interested. I mentioned this before. You know, we're again, you know, all the content here is rehashed. We have nothing new here. But I did mention that. You know, at the time I was considering the Royal Oak, I was, you know, I was offered a Nautilus, 3800 two-tone blue dial, the classic, for 14 grand. It was 14 grand. This was 7. So I figured, shit, this one has this one has complications. It's got a day, date, and a moon phase. And also I thought, you know, the design is a little bit more timeless and classic, whereas the Nautilus is, you know, but I like that. I like the fact that it's a little bit kitschy. It's got that 70s kitschy look. Meaning it's a retro. By the way, when I got this watch, one of the reasons why I like the two-tone is the whole watch is that it's a 70s, it's got that very 70s, decadent 70s vibe, all right? That like Studio 54 era vibe. Well, actually, this is a little bit earlier, but yeah, that's the vibe, right? Whereas this watch, but the thing was with the Royal Oak, it's more timeless. Like, you don't know when this watch was really made. Whereas the Nautilus, like, what? I mean, the more you think about it, the more like you really get disgusted with the fact that it's like so hokey, with that like you know theme, the what do you call, dive helmet theme. And listen, this Gerald Genta, just to tell you what, you know, a lot of his designs are just weird. They're just weird. I mean, he's a good designer, like very experimental, but who's that other guy that everybody loves? The guy for Patek Philippe who did, everybody thinks he's great. He's a guy from the 50s that did these like shaped cases for Patek. His name it'll come to me, but he did these like weird shapes. He did weird shapes for Patek. And all of a sudden, the last couple of years, everybody's going crazy for his designs. I think his stuff is garbage. I really do. I think I shouldn't say garbage. Look, the guy was an experimental guy, but his designs look very, you know, of the time, like whatever. It's like they're kind of hokey and weird, and, you know, unless you like that 50s look, you know, I don't know. Look, I think a watch needs to be timeless and classic. A watch needs to be, I mean, look, you're spending a lot of money. It's a lot, really, these watches, they're not cheap. These things are not cheap. So you got a lot of money tied up in it. All right, it's a big investment. So you got to get your money back. You got to get your money back. And the only way you're going to get your money back is if the design is going to last, you know, 20 to 30 years, if it's going to be a timeless design. If it's going to be a dated design, you're going to end up with something that looks like, I'm trying to think, like, what watches have aged badly? Think of watches from the 80s and 90s that just haven't aged well. Again, things come back. There's themes that come back, but like, what's a watch from the 80s and 90s? I'm not even talking about Frank Mueller. I'm talking about, like, who's out? You guys know what I'm saying. Anyway, bottom line is, the Nautilus is very, very dangerous. And by the way, they have a very cool watch, which is that perpetual calendar. The perpetual calendar Nautilus in white gold. I think it's a beautiful watch. The dial is beautiful. But the issue I've mentioned this before, is at some point that design, people might wake up. People might wake up and realize that the emperor has no clothes. Okay, and I don't know, but here's the thing: people who buy that watch, they're paying 160 plus. I mean, they're paying 160, 180 plus. Plus the sales tax, and somebody at that level. In other words, if you can really afford the watch, you probably may not care, because for a guy who's buying, let's say, 160,000, let's call it 200 grand, right? If you're spending 200 grand on a watch, it's probably, you probably should be liquid for, like, I think, to be on the safe side, you got to be liquid for at least 10 million, like liquid. I'm talking about, like, liquid, not talking about real estate. We're talking about, liquid assets, at least 10 million, to be able to, really pull that watch off. Otherwise, you'd be worried about it. I mean, but if you have your liquid for 10, the watch gets damaged, it gets stolen, whatever, not a big deal. Like, whatever. It's like a Rolex Submariner. So, and again, at that point, let's say you're paying 200 grand, and the watch drops in value, people realize it's a Fugazi, right? And prices drop to 90 grand, which they could very easily. They could drop to, I think Nautilus really is in danger of people just, what's the word? Jumping the shark. I think the watch has jumped the shark. I think at some point people are going to wake up, and at that point, prices could drop for that watch. I don't know if it's going to go to 90. I think it might go to low 100s. So then what's going to happen is, that's a big loss. That's a big loss. That's like imagine if you're losing basically 100 G's on a watch. That's like real money to lose. So that's the issue. What about Royal Oak? Royal Oak, by the way, also, I think this is design. At some point, people are going to get tired of it. I think they've already gotten tired of it. I mean, I did say it's timeless. Yes, it's kind of timeless, but at the same time, it's people just get tired of geometric shapes. It can happen, and when it happens, the price are going to drop. Now, I'm not sure how close we are. I know we're not far off. We're not far off the point where people are going to get tired. We could be a few years away, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. And now the question is, will I sell the watch? Should I sell it now? My answer is, my cost basis is so low in the watch. And I like the watch. Like, it's part of it. It speaks to me because it's of my era. It's kind of my era. I was born in the 70s. Unbelievably true. I mean, I know many of you think I'm a Gen Zer because obviously I'm very youthful and very attractive. But I was actually born in the 70s. So this watch is of my. Actually, I think this came out the same year I was born. I think also, it's also, I think, unbelievable true. I'm actually the same age as the Bogan of Brisbane. That's right, we're talking about Archie Luxury. The Bogan. I think our birthdays are only a few days apart. Unbelievable true. But you're not going to find me doing videos, beg streams. I bet Archie's going to be doing a beg stream for like a birthday special. There's going to be some live stream where you're going to have Chomo Philippe and all the other suckers. They're gonna be there, like, trying to, walking around. They're gonna be like that monkey. The monkey. There's the guy that plays the music, and then there's the monkey that's got the hat and collects all the coins. So Patel is the monkey. He's like the monkey with the hat that collects all the coins from the grifter. Yeah, Archie's the grifter, and Chomo Philippe is the monkey, picking up the coins from the. But people give to the monkey because they like the monkey. They're not giving to the grifter. So you need the right monkey. I gotta get a monkey to collect, because you need the right personality. It's a whole thing. All right, gentlemen, we got a beautiful day here, and I thought I'd just make this video talking about. Again, we're just doing second-rate content for a third-rate audience. When I say third-rate audience, we're talking about you, of course. Wow, look at this! Wow, what a quality video here. I think we're gonna look. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna raise the membership rates. The membership rates are too low because look at this production quality. Oh my God, this is like incredible video quality. So, by the way, this also tells me that this type of watch, you can only really appreciate it in the right lighting. When you have like indirect light, when you have this type of indirect light, the beauty of it comes out. If you have like direct sunlight, it's going to be nasty and vicious. I mean, you don't want, like, if you look at a beautiful woman, you don't want to see her in direct sunlight, because then you see too many flaws, and all of us have flaws. But when you have like this type of flattering daylight filtered through like this shed, and it's not cloudy, it's actually daylight, all right, yeah, we're gonna have to raise the rates. All right, gentlemen, send money now.